All right, YouTube, what's good, guys? So, as you read from the title, I'm going to be watching. Holy crap, I can't get this thing to focus. All right, so I feel like I should have done this from some other angle. Hold on. All right, so guys, how's it going? So, I know we're live right now, and oh crap, my phone ain't working all of a sudden. All right, so as the title reads, we're going to watch some scary horror films. Now, I'm going to give y'all my approach on what I think about some horror things because thing is, when it comes to me and horror things, like horror movies or horror videos, like sometimes, yeah, there are scary things behind it, but I tend not to worry about it too much. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, things do, happen. And so it's like, well, but, I don't. Hey. Whoa. Um, hmm. Okay, that's for another. That's for another time. That's for another time. That's for another time. So anyway, so I'm gonna pull up the video on here, because I'm looking at you right here. You're looking at me, but I'm gonna pull up on this big old thing where you guys can see yourselves as well. We're gonna be watching it together, and I'm gonna make comments about it. Yes, my face looks ugly. God, please. Anyway, so what does he want? One second, guys. Sorry. Sure. Okay, sorry about that. I found that funny how he just texted me and he could have just came down here and asked. But anyway, so let's go ahead and pull up the video real quick. Can you guys hear me pretty well? I'm not sure if you guys can actually hear me very well. Because I'm pretty sure that let's check it out. Let's check it out. That sounds so groggy, but at least it works. That's the only thing I'm kind of glad about. Anyway, let me pull it up and let's go ahead and watch the first video, and we're gonna explain everything about it afterwards. So let's go back to YouTube, and we're gonna pull up the one that I actually seen that was related to like a lot of things, which is things about like Chuck E. Cheese. So matter of fact, see where it was where I just okay, here we go. All right, so let's watch and let's see what happens.
So let's say you have to read an incredibly long email from your boss that you have to finish before the big meeting.
Okay. Sorry about pausing again. So now y'all can see that. Let's continue. All right. All right. Actually, I'm gonna cut off the lights. We can actually make it look more menacingly approachable to seeing how this would work. So let's get into it. All right, let's go. First video.
Remember Chuck E. Cheese? That old arcade with the singing animatronics? Of course you do. I just found out they went bankrupt recently. It made me think back to my horrible experience there as a very little kid. I was no older than 8 or 9. It was like my third and last time ever at a Chuck E. Cheese. This specific location closed down years ago, but it used to be basically down the street from our old house. My mom took my little brother and I, and she let us roam free and do our own thing and play games.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait, just a minute, wait a minute. Did I just hear that right? Did he just say that his mother allowed him and his brother to roam around free? No. What were you thinking? Let's hear that one more time. Hold on. Run that back.
Down years ago, but it used to be basically down the street from our old house. My mom took my little brother and I, and she let us roam free and do our own thing.
I'm sorry, but I just have to ask why. Like, what were you thinking? This is why I don't understand why. I mean, I understand he's older now, but still, the fact of the matter is, why did she let y'all roam free? That's the whole point. I mean, I understand Chuck E. Cheese is supposed to be a fun and exciting place, right? But why? All right. A little story time. Real quick. So, if you guys didn't know, which I've explained in the video before, titled "My Work Experience at Chuck E. Cheese and When I Worked There," which kind of explained a little bit of everything of when I worked at Chuck E. Cheese, because I did a story time based on a lot of things when I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. So the idea is I was a game attendant. So I was like a game technician who knew how to work the games and pretty much kept the games in check, right? So when it came to the fact that if in a video like this, like something like there's so many Chuck E. Cheese around, but the thing about it is, like, if you guys knew about the TikTok that blew up when apparently 5 kids went missing in Chuck E. Cheese, that story just literally just blew out of the way, like, just to go like, yeah, this is what happened. So if I can remember precisely, like I said, when I worked there, things, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm gonna keep it 100. I really didn't like when I went and closed at night, because I had not a traumatizing experience, but it was just that the way that things, okay, let me explain this. The thing about it is, with the animatronics, with each character, we had Chucky, we had Chuck E. Cheese, we had not Chucky, but we had Chuck E. Cheese, we had Pasquale the chef, you had Munch the monster, then you had whatchamacallit, Jasper the dog, and then you had Helen the chicken, or whatever she was. She was a chicken. Now, the thing about it was, at night when I closed most of the time with my crewmates and all that and my team members, well, we weren't called crew members. We were called what was the name that they called us? We were stage, not stage something. I forgot what they used to call us, but pretty much we weren't teammates. I mean, we weren't team members. We were stage members. That was the name. So we were called stage members, and we all had certain jobs. You had someone who did the pizza, some people who were at the front counter and did the prize section. You had ones that did like the games, ones that did that. So I was one of them who did the game attendant and all that. And there was also a technician. There was a lot of other people that were behind the scenes. So it was a lot. Now, there was one thing that, like I said, that I didn't really like at night, which was the understanding of, like, when we would shut down the animatronics at night. The one thing that used to creep me out was Helen's. Okay, so the idea of the animatronics here, like, and this is for all animatronics, whenever the animatronics would, like, once we shut them down, the eyes are supposed to close, right? So Chuck E. Cheese eyes would close. All the other animatronics would close their eyes, except for Helen's. Her eyes would stay open, and it was just. I mean, I know I was about 16, 17 when that happened. Yeah. So when I worked there, I was about 16, 17. And the thing about it was, once that happened, Helen's eyes just got like, I don't know, it was just a eerie feeling because like I would be looking and it would be like completely dark. Like we would cut off like the light source that we had that worked in the building and everything. As soon as you cut the light off, it literally just cut off every game and it would just be dark as heck. Like imagine if you were in there at night and you like if you had to be like a security guard watching everything to make sure nothing would happen. 9 times out of 10, you definitely would be freaking out if you see like Helen, because her eyes would stay open. Every other character had their eyes closed, but it was just Helen's eyes. I just anyway. So yeah, that's what one thing about that one. But I mean, like I said, that's the Chuck E. Cheese story that about the fuck is that just blew up. So I mean, I know y'all probably heard about that. Anyway, enough of me talking. Back to the video.
Play the games while she sat at one of the tables reading like most of the other parents. I was playing this clown game where you had to shoot the clown's teeth out with this little cannonball shooter. I was playing the games that would get me the most tickets for the prizes. I finished the game again, and the ticket shot out from the ticket slot. That's when I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned and jumped in my seat. I was greeted with a giant Chuck E. Cheese mascot in my face. He held out his hand for a high five, and naturally I gave him his high five with a smile. He then pointed at the tickets and gave me a thumbs up. I think I just continued laughing and smiling and said, yeah. Then he pointed at the tickets once more and motioned for me to follow him. So I ripped the tickets from the slot and followed the...
Whoa. Okay. Another thing. If there's one thing that I noticed while I was working there, apparently there was a lot of guidelines that we had to follow as stage members. Was if you do the Chucky costume, which let's be honest, I did there, and I was there for about give or take 2 months because I worked there for a minute. And on top of that, the thing was, while you were in the suit, because I had to be in the suit most of the time, because the thing about it was, you can tell like when there's someone else in the suit because of our height differences. Because apparently, like with me, I was about the same height I am now, which is about 5'10", 5'11". And once I was in the suit, this was during June and July, I was hot. That suit had no fan, no kind of circulation or nothing. So I had to be in the suit, and I literally had to, I was burning up. Like, this is for like that. It was hot. So I had to keep like something to keep myself from like not overheating and, getting a bloody nose. Because my nose would do that it would do that every once in a while. But while you're in the suit, we had certain guidelines we had to follow. So that was, you can engage with the customers. You can take pictures. You can take photos. Well, you can take pictures. You can, if anyone, wants you to dance for them, you can. Only thing is, apparently a guideline that I didn't read, which is something that I thought I did, because they gave us, like when I say they gave us a booklet, they gave us a thick booklet. And I went through that entire thing during the interview and everything, and I went through, with these 3 other girls that I met that were about the same age as me. And when I tell you they gave me that big booklet, I was like, this is one big fucking book. And I kid you not, I went home that night because we got hired. So we were able to go ahead and get our shirts and our, and our name tags, which I still have to this day. I still have a name tag for when I worked there. So, plus I have a name tag for when I worked at Durham Bulls. So I have that one, but that's another story for another day. So I went home and I was, like I said, 16 or 17, and I took that booklet and I read through the entire thing. But when I tell you that that booklet had so many things that I thought I went through, I went to work one day and they had wanted me to do two parties back to back. So I had to do one that was like from 10 for I guess about, well, let me see. This was probably after 10 or 11 in the morning, I think. Yeah, it was on a Saturday. And Fridays and Saturdays were the two busiest days where you had parties, right? So Fridays would normally be the busiest because that's when you had birthday parties bad to back sometimes. And Saturdays were definitely like the same. So it was between Fridays and Saturdays that would always be the biggest days for having birthdays. And the midday, like the regular weekend, those weren't as much. But being in a costume, I remember I went to work and like I said, I had to do two parties back to back. So that means I was in the Chucky suit both times, and I had to do two dances. I had to do one that was called the Chucky slide, which is like a version of the Cha Cha slide, but you're doing pretty much the Chucky slide, and you're pretty much going. Like I said, this is one thing I always remember because this is the only dance that I had to do. It was 4 steps to the right, 4 steps to the left, and then you had to do the roll, and you had to do the roll. So pretty much it was, and I knew how to do the voice of Chucky because, like I said, that was the one thing I heard all the time was his voice. So I knew how to do it because I'm a voice impressionist, so I know how to do like cartoon impressions and stuff like that. So it was 4 steps to the front, 4 steps to the back, or no, 4 steps. Yeah, 4 steps to the front, 4 steps to the back, and then I think it's turn to the left, clap, turn to the left, turn to the right, clap, and then you do the roll, and literally you just follow. Like the idea is, when they taught me this dance, I didn't even think I knew it because they tried to teach us to dance beforehand because that was the first thing they taught us, which was when we're in the suit, they teach you how to get in the suit and they teach you how to be able to do everything in the suit. Now they can't address your name because you're dressed as Chucky, so they can't say Dominic. They had to say, they had to say, "Oh, hi, Chucky," because that's all you can say when you're around your employees. So if you're in the costume, they know it's you, but they have to say, "Hey, Chucky," or all that. Anyway, so to that, yeah. Anyway, continue.
Giant mascot. As we walked across the main floor, a couple other kids around like 6 came up to him saying, "Hey, Chucky," and he gave them both high fives. I kept following him, wondering if he'd tell the other kids to follow, but he didn't. He would turn back every few seconds to make sure I was still following. Finally, we made it across the main floor by the stage towards this back area.
I thought you were making one.
I am making one. I'm live right now. No, it's
Oops.
So are you planning to go now or what?
I don't know. Well, after you're done doing that.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I was talking to one of my friends. Anyway, continue.
Where he waved me to follow him through this employees only door. From what I remember about how I was feeling, let's just say a combination of weird and excited.
Okay, so, and by the way, this is by Mr. Nightmare. If you guys don't know his videos, I've watched him off of Corey Kenshin's videos. Shout out to Corey Kenshin. Trust me, this guy has had tons of stories that are just bizarre, like just bizarre, crazy. Now, at the same time, when I was young, when I used to go to Chuck E. Cheese when I was younger, I definitely always wondered about like why always like it seemed different when I seemed like Chucky had a different personality sometimes. Because I went to one in Virginia, and that Chuck E. Cheese wasn't too bad. Because I mean, my mom still has pictures of all the pictures we took when we were in Chuck E. Cheese in Virginia. And from what I can remember from the one I went to when I was younger and here in Durham, what had happened was the thing about it was the experience that I felt was I think, let me see. Yeah, so the thing was I went to Chuck E. Cheese today on my birthday, and I was young, so I was just about this was a few years back. I'm trying to think in my mind. I gotta remember because, like I said, I was young when this happened, and we had got there before they closed, which was a little bit after like 5 or 6, maybe. I'd say probably like 4 or 5, maybe. Right, like 4 or 5 in the afternoon before they closed. So it was me and my brother, and we were celebrating my birthday. That's what I remember. And I was having fun. You know, my mom and dad, they were sitting there relaxing, doing them. And I was hanging out with my brother. Me and him were playing the games and stuff like that. Some of the games there have been the same, like from what I know and what I remember, but majority of the other ones were kind of like because the pictures that they post online are still about the same, so they haven't really changed the games as much, but they'll probably do an update eventually. Well, not now because due to the COVID, it's not, going to change. But um, from what I remember, like I said, I seen a person when Chucky had came out to do a birthday party, and I remember we had to do the ticket splash because that was always one thing that at the end you would follow Chucky, you would get tickets, and like I said, the thing about it was a lot of people like, well, not a lot of people, but a lot of the kids that I was around, they were just mean to Chucky. Like they were like, "Oh, Chucky, you're not really a mouse. You're a rat." And I'm thinking they really just called Chuck E. Cheese a rat. That's just messed up. But I was young, so I was like, yo, why y'all being mean to Chucky? Chucky's not. I mean, and I was defending Chucky because like I was like, nah, Chucky's just fun, eccentric character. He's not mean. He's nice. But I mean, it's something with the way things are now with some characters who just I don't know. But anyway, yeah. If y'all want to go watch the story time on when I talked about Chuck E. Cheese, it's on my page. Just go check it out. It should be titled under. Let's see. I gotta remember what it's titled under. One sec. Let's see. See if I can freaking find it. Cause I have so many videos of things. It's just like I don't know. One sec. See if we can find it. Okay, so it's called Working at Chuck E. Cheese. So it's the video explains itself. So if you want to go check out the rest of that, then you guys can. But we're gonna go ahead and finish this one up. So yeah, let's get to it.
Okay. We entered this narrow hallway, and I felt kind of special for being allowed access back here. Keep in mind, I had the mind and maturity of a very young child. The mascot led me to this back room where he motioned for me to enter first, so I did. It was this small changing room type of room. It had a few lockers on one wall and one long bench extending half the length of the room. That was it. He entered the room and shut the door behind us, and I noticed he locked it. That's when I became confused and afraid. I thought he was taking me to get a bunch of free tickets. What could he possibly do in this empty room with me? He approached me, put his furry mascot hand on my shoulder, and then started rubbing from my shoulder to my arm. Then he seemed as though he tried to reach lower with both of his hands, and I pushed him off and yelled, "Stop." That's when the person in the suit lifted the mask off his head, revealing some sweaty, middle-aged man underneath. He started to remove the rest of the costume from himself as he told me to be quiet. I sat there watching, shaking, and plotting my way for the door.
Okay, now let me ask this. This is what I'm explaining. Why didn't the parents take? I mean, where was his brother? Where was his mother? His father? Like, what the? I mean, this is this is funny. This is funny. I mean, you mean to tell me a middle-aged man who's interested in a boy? Oh, that's a shame. That's a fucking oops. But anyway, I mean, dude, seriously, where was the mother? Where was the father? Where was his brother? That's why you don't leave kids. I mean, it's fine if they're not going. Okay, I even have another story to this that even I got scared once because of the situation that happened. So apparently, I was working on another Saturday, right? And this guy came in with his kid, right? And I had marked them just because the object is if you're marking, people that come in, so that way you know that they came in and that they're there. They have a number. We give them a number right on the palm of their backhand, so that way that the number that they have, that's the number that they have to have when they come out. So, because we have a little UAV light that we use that will indicate what number it is for them. And this kid and his dad came in, and from what I remember is the kid went ahead and what he did was he took off. That's all I can remember is when they came in together, and the kid apparently ran, and I had seen him run across to something. I don't remember what. I just know it was a game he probably saw, and he ran to it. That was the last that I seen him. Next thing you know, the dad took and was apparently getting either the card or either he was getting something, for the card, because they don't use just tokens to play. I mean, there's some games that you can't use the tokens to play, but the other ones are like a card and you have to just scan the card and then you just play. So apparently once the guy did that, he did notice that his son took off, and so he's looking everywhere. And I mean, he looked everywhere. And apparently his son went all the way around through the games, looked at each game. Because like I said, I seen him run. So when he took off, all I did was I ended up having more people that came in right after I looked at his kid. And that was it. So I'm taking care of the people who are coming in. And I'm working their hands saying, hey, how's it going? Welcome to Chuck E. Cheese. Hope you guys have a fun time and enjoy yourself. That's it, right? So, I mean, after that, the guy, I see him running around looking for his kid, and he's looking everywhere. And at this point, I don't know let me see, did we have the slide at that point? No, I think we took the slide down because they at the Chuck E. Cheese here in Durham, we did have a slide at one point, but then I think we took it down and it's no longer been there since then. Yeah, we ain't got a slide no more. But yeah, he's looking around everywhere, and I mean, he's trying to find it. He's like, holy crap, fun's missing. So, next thing you know, I notice, okay, don't be stepping on the floor like that. Anyway, so the kid is apparently he went to the bathroom and we didn't know it. Like I said, he apparently was zooming around so fast that we didn't even realize he had went to the bathroom, because the guy came after us and came up to me and was like, hey, yo, man, quick question. Let me ask you this. He was like, bro. And I was like, yes, sir. What seems to be the problem? He was like, yo, he's like, my kid, did you see him? I was like, the last that I seen your kid, he was around the games, but after that, I don't know where he went. I just seen that he was, running around. And really, I couldn't move from my place because I had to stay and do the, putting the stamps on people's hands and then just checking the ones that came in and out. So I couldn't move. But apparently this guy was really, really like getting mad. He's like, man, I can't find my kid. What did y'all do to my kid? I'm thinking, sir, we didn't do anything. We're going to help you find your kid. We got you. Next thing you know, we're looking everywhere. We're looking in the cameras. We're looking everywhere. Like, we're like, man, this kid done really done did. Like, where did he go? So we're looking everywhere. We're looking at each game. We're looking in the slide. I think at that time when we did have one or not, I can't remember. I just know we don't have one now because they took it down. But we're looking everywhere. We're like, where's this kid at? What's your kid's name? What's he? I mean, we know what he looked like, but we just wanted to know because we really didn't understand how he just disappeared that fast on us. So we had to call the cops. Well, no, we didn't call him. The dad called him. He was like, no, man, y'all lost my kid, And I'm thinking, sir, we didn't lose your kid. I'm trying to help him. I'm like, dude, your kid took off. He went and ran into this direction. That's the last that I seen. And then I had to continue working. So I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't try to stop him or nothing. I had to get back to work. And I'm sorry that he went where he went, but we're going to try to help you find him. And he's just rambling off the mouth. He's like, nah, man, F you. I don't appreciate this. Y'all let my kid get taken. I'm like, sir, we did not. Your kid took off, but we're going to find him. So we literally were trying to help him as much as possible because he was really freaking out. He was mad, like mad to a limit. So after that, we look in the bathroom and we're looking and we're thinking, okay, he probably went to the females or he probably went to the males. I don't know why we were thinking he did, but we didn't know because this is the predicament that we didn't expect to happen. So Next thing you know, we look in the bathroom, we didn't find him. We go looking around again. He calls the cops and he's like, yo, someone tell my kid, man, I'm here at Chuck E. Cheese, blah, 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 blah. We're like, bro, we got you. Don't worry. We're really trying to calm him down. And then before you know it, cops come. They're trying to go ahead and figure out where this kid at. They're looking everywhere. They're like, okay, we're going to have to look on the security cameras because I was the one to introduce the cops in. And I said, officers, I said, we don't know where this kid went. We just know that we were looking everywhere for him. We can't find him. We went in the bathroom. We checked to see if he was in there. He wasn't. We checked the games. He wasn't near the games. So we don't know exactly where he went. I've seen, and they asked me, they were like, well, where'd you see him last? I was like, the last thing I did when they came in is they went to the cash register, and then his son just shook off and went to this direction. That was it. And so they were like, okay, well, check the bathrooms one more time. So this is what I did. My manager was like, don't move. But I was like, sir, let me go check the bathroom. He might be in there. Let's go. I'm going to go find out. I went to the bathroom, and as soon as I looked, his son didn't have the door closed, but his son was in the bathroom. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, how did this kid get back in the bathroom even though we just checked around and he was nowhere to be found? That, like, it scared me. It really did scare me, because I was like, this kid just really almost cost me and our entire job and everything just to just go downhill because we apparently got him missed. The dad, I told him, I was like, yeah, your son's in the bathroom. And he's like, really? He's like, bro, I just checked both bathrooms, because the dad literally went into both bathrooms, checked, and went everywhere and was looking just to find his son. And I was like, yeah, bro, he's in the bathroom. I just checked. He's on the toilet. He's fine. Just go get your son. So he comes out. He's holding on to his son really, really close. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I don't know how he ended up there. I just know I try to help you as best as possible, man. Because I mean, and he looked at me and he asked me this one question that I'll never forget. He was like, bro, he's like, do you have any kids? Do you know how it feels to lose somebody like that? And I was like, honestly, I don't have kids, but I know losing something like that in a predicament like this in a small space, because that Chuck E. Cheese that we had was not that big. I mean, it may look big, but it's not. And he was like, and I was like, man, I was like, I'm sorry that your kid did that to you, but we tried as best possible, and we found him. So that was the only thing. So the cops were like, okay, well, he's found. He's not, he's not sustaining any injury. No, nobody took him. He was just running around. So, because they ran the cameras back and they were able to find out that he apparently was just running around doing his own thing, and he apparently went to the bathroom once, came out, went somewhere around the game or whatever, and then went back to the bathroom just to use the bathroom. So it was crazy. I mean, that's something I never want to go through again, because that was just crazy. But like I said, enough rambling about that. We're gonna get back to this, because this was just, I don't know, this just definitely just took a toll for the worse. Let's just put it like that. All right, so let's finish this off. I've only been 3 minutes in and I'm still just ugh. All right, let's finish.
When I thought he was distracted enough by the suit, I tried to run past him for the door, but he grabbed me and told me to stop. He offered me all the free tickets I wanted if I just behaved. I started to yell and pound on the door. He tried to cover my mouth, but I think he gave up when he realized it wasn't worth the risk for him. I unlocked the door and ran back down the hall in tears. I ran back to my mom, yelling at her about what just happened. She was distraught and went right to the front desk. The girl at the front desk seemed to be in a panic as well, and I think she called for her supervisor. Pretty soon, all the music was stopped and the place was put into a lockdown of sorts, where all the kids were to go to their parents. A bunch of workers ran to the back section, and eventually police showed up outside. I had to give my whole story to a crowd of like 6 people, and I was extremely nervous. The man in the Chucky suit was some random creep who snuck into the back section of the building to dress in one of the suits and apparently lure children to the back. Realizing and looking back at that now as a grown adult is disturbing and disgusting, and I was the victim of a predator. I never found out if that monster was caught.
I've always loved sci-fi
That's just crazy.
and the idea of being right on the edge.
So apparently somebody took the idea and was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just sneak in and do me. I like how I just went dark again. Holy crap. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So I didn't realize that it gets dark like that once it's. So apparently there's 3 stories or 4. I don't know how. Yeah, it's 3. So this apparently was related to some guy who ended up somehow sneaking into Chuck E. Cheese and apparently doing whatever he wished to kids. That's scary as hell to be able to, go through that and be like, hey man, you wanna I mean, it's just ugh. That just ugh. All right. Let's get to story 2, because I know right now you guys are probably thinking he's been talking too long. We don't want to hear him. Keep going on. Just go to the next video. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna shut up. Let's go to video 2.
I used to work for Chuck E. Cheese very briefly when I was 21 years old. I was one of the janitors slash maintenance workers. I know, not very awe-inspiring. I was broke as hell and needed money. All my job really entailed was cleaning tables and keeping the play areas generally clean. Sounds easy, but there was never really a time to just sit and take a breath. There was always something to clean or take care of. I would also be in charge of turning on and off the animatronics, opening the stage curtains, fixing busted arcade machines, and things of that nature. My shifts would always be later, from like 4 to 10 p.m. My location closed at 8 on weekdays and 9 on weekends. I would stay an hour, sometimes 2 hours after, to get the place in top shape ready for the next day. So this one night, I was working past close like I usually did. Everyone had already left the building, including the other workers, so I was the last one in the building. I was dragging my cleaning cart around the arcade area. I had already turned off all the game machines. I was by that space-themed arcade machine where you had to press the button at the right moment to stop the light on the jackpot bulb. As I was passing by this machine, the space-themed music suddenly emits from the machine at a very loud volume, and all the lights start flashing again. I felt like my heart was in my throat. That's how much it startled me. I fiddled with my keys to access the control port of the machine to turn it off again. I'd never seen anything like that happen before. It suddenly just freaked me out, only because I was all alone in that big building pretty late at night. The weirdness didn't stop there, though. By this point in the night, I had already shut down the animatronics on the stage, so when I heard Chucky's pre-recorded laugh break the silence of the room, my heart started pounding again. The laugh was short and cut off. It almost sounded glitchy. I ditched my cleaning cart to go backstage and check on the animatronics, and I could see they were in their idle modes now, meaning they would move their limbs and heads around every so often. I would have to go to the control room to turn them off, but this was the second strange thing to happen that night. I started getting paranoid that someone else was in the building with me, but that thought was interrupted when I noticed that the Chucky animatronic was facing me, and its head angled down perfectly to look as though it was looking at me. It was bizarre. Bizarre that I was finding it that disturbing. I'm not crazy, but for my own peace of mind, with my eyes on the Chucky animatronic, I walked past it, close to the control room. I waited there for a few seconds, and then the animatronic spun 90 degrees to face me once more, perfectly. I swear it was once again looking right at me, and then the laughter emitted once again from the animatronic. But in a creepy, glitchy, cut-off manner, this time much louder, obviously because I was right next to it. I ran to the control room to hit the switch to turn everything off on the stage once more. I left the control room, and the Chucky animatronic was still facing the direction it was moments before. I left the stage through the curtain and just felt uneasy. I was starting to think maybe it was all just getting to my head. But that's when I heard the horrible laugh again come from the stage behind the curtains. That was the last straw. I took my card, clocked out, and left. I texted my boss the next day that I had to leave early because I was feeling extremely sick. He said it wasn't a problem, but he never mentioned anything about the animatronics being left on. And when I asked him if the animatronics had some kind of motion detecting feature to look at people, he said no, they didn't. I'm not the most superstitious guy, but I firmly believe I wasn't the only presence in that building that night. And I don't mean there was another person in there.
Man, that's just scary AF. Like, okay, if you were to ask me to do that, I would have been like, I might want to pay me overtime, cause no, I mean, you mean to tell me you cut off all the okay, so his story kind of sounds like mine, where you had to, I mean, because I also had to do that as well sometimes. I didn't always just do one job where I did, doing the costume or, doing the games. I did everything almost just about. So to end up oh, that's ooh. The fact that when I heard the yeah, no, that's a and I mean, to think about it, I mean, you cut off all the games, you cut off all the animatronics, and yet the game restarted itself and apparently just started going off. Don't tell me that's not ghost features. Like there's a ghost that's living in there that can start the. I mean, it's just an option because that is really scary. Like to the point where you think nothing can go wrong, and you're like, nah, I just gotta clean. I gotta go ahead and make sure everything's good. So I mean, what do you? What I mean, you should be fine. But I mean, once that happens, and then you hear, yeah, no, that's a problem. That's what I'm be like, hey, boss. I would have called him right on the spot and be like, hey, boss, I got a problem. You know the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic, right? I think he's checking me out, or either something's up with the animatronic. What's going on? Because I mean, if I'm hearing it once, and not only once, but if I'm hearing it three times in a row, that's when I'm cutting it off. I'm be like, boss, yeah, I gotta roll, bro. I'm done. Y'all can have someone else have that. All right, so we're on story three. We're on the last and final one, and after this, we'll go ahead and probably end it there, and you guys can let me know what you think. So let's go ahead and finish on story three, and then we'll end it there. All right, cool.
This is a story from my childhood that I don't like to look back on too much. I was 13. My mom brought my two little sisters and I to Chuck E. Cheese one evening. My sisters are 4 and 6 years younger than me, so it was more for them. My mom just wanted me to come along. My mom was playing games with my sisters, so I went to do my own thing. It was my only time ever at Chuck E. Cheese, so I was trying to play every game at least once. Eventually, a worker in a red polo shirt came up to me. He was in his lower to mid 20s, I'd say. He didn't seem that old. He asked me if I wanted some more tokens. I said, yeah, sure. He told me to follow him. He led me through this sketchy back door, which led to a back exit. I asked him where he was leading me. He said to his truck. He told me not to tell anyone, but that he had access to all the tokens he wanted and just kept piles of them in his car. I stopped following when I realized he was leading me to his car. I told him my mom would be mad. He tried to push that I follow him a little more, but gave up. Before I walked back inside, he asked for my AIM username, and I gave it to him. I was excited for new friends on AIM. For those of you who don't know, AIM was an instant messenger that was all the rage before smartphones and texting really became a thing. I don't remember his username. All I know, it was something with his name in it, which was Ben. I would sign on to AIM every single night, including that night after Chuck E. Cheese. I signed in, and I had a few friends online. Next thing I knew, I got a message from Ben, so I added him to my buddy list. He said, hey, it's Ben from earlier. I replied, what's up, and we started chatting. He chatted with me as if we were good friends already. I asked him how he was able to get all the tokens he wanted, and he said it's easy when you work there. He told me he was going to come to my house that night with a bunch of tokens. I told him, no, it's okay. And he told me, no, it's fine. You live really close to me anyway. I replied, how do you know where I live? And he said he followed my mom's van on our way home.
Nah, 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 you. Oh, you idiot. I mean, not an idiot, but I mean, no. No. Then you a stalker, bro. That's not, no. No. I mean, come on. All right, let's be honest. You're on your way home, right? And okay, you're with your sisters. And you're 13, man. By this time, you gotta be able to have some knowledge to be like, hey, bro, no, if you talking about getting some chicken, some tokens, I'm good. I'll just get my own as my mom. She can let me get some. And apparently he worked there. That's the problem. I didn't even do that when I. I mean, come on now. I mean, let's be honest. I kind of don't even want to see how this ends. This is just. Let's finish it out. I mean, we're almost done. Let's just finish it out. And I'm gonna explain everything towards the end. This is just going. Sweet Jesus. This.
I blocked his account immediately. I was beyond scared. I told my friends about it on AIM. Some of them said I should tell my parents or call the police. But I waited. Maybe he was bluffing. But no, he wasn't. I heard a truck pull up outside through my open window. I looked out the window and saw the black truck that Ben guy was leading me towards earlier. I saw him get out from the truck, and I know he spotted me because he started walking over to my window. I pulled the window in and locked it, and then shut the blind. By that point, he was already halfway to my window, and he was waving his arms at me. I ran to my mom to tell her. She didn't find it funny, thinking I was kidding at first. But I convinced her after she looked out the window and saw the black truck begin to speed down the road. My mom wanted me to show her the AIM conversation, but I couldn't, as I had deleted him off my buddy list and blocked him. My parents called the police, of course, but that was just for peace of mind. They couldn't do anything besides make a report. The next day, my mom called the Chuck E. Cheese and asked about a Ben. They said they had no Bens who worked there. There were also no employees matching that guy's description. The Chuck E. Cheese eventually handed the CCTV footage from the day before to the police department for an investigation, which turned up no results. My family never went to a Chuck E. Cheese ever again.
Wow. Mr. Nightmare, you've done it yet again. So apparently he didn't even work there. Like, you see, this is the second one who didn't work there. I mean, yo, I find it funny how there's two guys that didn't work there, yet, oh, this is insane. This is insane. I really don't understand how. I mean, you see how people can be nowadays. I mean, I don't even know when he posted this. Hold on, let me see when he did. This was last year. Oh, I didn't know that. All right, but anyway, guys, that's three scary true Chuck E. Cheese stories by Mr. Nightmare. Yeah. So, if you guys want to see me do more horror stories like this, and without less chatting on anything, just let me know in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this, because I think I'm better at trying to give my version on horror stories. If you guys want to see me play horror games, then that's a different story. And I mean, we might do that. I don't know. I'm debating about it. But yeah, other than that, this has been Dom Squad. And guys, as you always know, as I always say, Dom Squad, we out. See you guys later.